set, what's the biggest difference you're noticing between the approach from Coach Fry versus what you were doing the last couple of years?
From Coach Fry, from what I learned is that he's good for visual learners. You know, he can go through the drill with you. So if you don't learn from audible learning, he can show you what to do. So I think that some of the guys, I was really good for them, seeing like what they had to do right instead of hearing what they had to do. So I think that was probably one of the big changes.
Are you a visual learner?
I would say I'm more of a visual learner. And so if I like set a little bit too offside or I'm offset, he's like, no, this is what you got to do. And he actually kicks and shows me, like, okay, now I see it. I know what to do.
Well, there's no hard work for you coming in last year, not having spring practice coming in basically, you know, but just knowing that you are a little bit behind.
That was a concern when I first enrolled, but when I first came here, I realized that it wasn't that big of a deal. Coach Mick and the strength staff got me up to par in terms of strength-wise, but I had to mature on my own. You know, I feel like that was a big thing for me. End of last year coming to this year, like I had to mature as an individual and as a football player, and I feel like I wasn't at that point yet. Well, I feel like in terms of preparation, in terms of off the field and on the field, I wasn't at the point where I had to, like watching film-wise, I wasn't at the point where I had to be if I wanted to be a starter at Ohio State. And so I realized that I had to grow up almost and try to take control of what I could do.
You don't strike me as an immature guy.
No, not immature, yeah.
Or was that internal, or did somebody say something to you? Like,
No, that was internal. I felt like I could do more, in my opinion.
Did something happen that led you to that realization, or was it just you got here and realized it's a different level?
I was like, nothing really happened. I feel like I would watch myself on film and I realized I had to do better. So that's where I came in and asked other guys of what I could do to get better. And so off the field stuff like getting to bed, getting the proper sleep, recovery, and then watching proper film is what led to me trying to get better.
So you probably become pretty easily a talented guy. You know, in high school you could probably just physically dominate people, right? So you get here and you have athletes that are similar to you. Is it like, oh, okay, it's not the real one?
Yeah, you know, Coach Mick always says that talent can only take you so far, and the rest is effort and fight. You know, I tried to reinforce the fight this off season, and so with the help of the strength staff and guys around me, I feel like I'm getting to the place where I want to be.
Donovan, I think a lot of people have viewed you as a guard there at Ohio State. Can you see yourself as a future tackle there at Ohio State?
I mean, if somebody bump out the tackle, I'll go to tackle. But for now, I'm gonna stay at guard.
Do you think guard is your best position?
I don't know how to answer that one. I don't know how to answer that one.
Let me ask you about Enoch. You know, he lost his father last year. It was a tough year for him. His comeback this year pretty strong. What are your impressions of him?
Enoch is one of those guys when I first came in that he was one of the first people that greeted me with a smile. So I love Enoch as a brother and as a friend. You know, when all that stuff happened to him, I was always there for him. You know, I couldn't experience what he was going through. I was always there for him. So having him still with us and like still learning from him today is a great experience for me.
He said he kind of had to learn to lean on his teammates because he wanted to kind of take it on himself before. Do you sense that? Do you sense that, okay, he's kind of a different guy in that sense?
I wouldn't say too much. You know, you can only do so much as someone from the outside looking in. So I just tried to be there for him and be a good friend and a good brother as well as I could.
Donovan, when I asked Kevin Wilson about you a couple of weeks ago, I think it took him 8 or 9 words before he said the name Trent Williams when he was kind of talking about your athleticism. Mm-hmm. Not to put undue expectations on you because he's a freak, but how do you feel like your athleticism helps you with the guard position?
I think it helps me a lot. You know, in high school, obviously I was a tackle, so having the type of feet it takes to move in space, and obviously Trent Williams is a pretty big individual, but just learning every day, trying to get to that level is where I'm at right now.
When you were recruited, did they mention tackle at all as a possibility down the road for you?
They mentioned me being an offensive lineman, so they said that just be prepared to move where we need you to be. I was like, all right. So I just went with it.
You seem like you had the skill set you could play at all 5 positions if they needed you to. If you think
right. Okay.
What's your long-term goal? Obviously, reaching the NFL is the pinnacle. So, I mean, do you see yourself as a guard or a tackle at the next level? What's been your vision of where you're going to be playing in the pros?
Well, I see myself playing in the pros as an offensive lineman. You know, the same rules apply. You know, if the NFL team says we need you to play this way, I'm gonna play it. If this is somebody to play punter, I'm gonna kick the ball. So wherever they need me to play, I'm gonna play it.
Is there a major difference between right guard and left guard?
Philosophy-wise, no. It's just knowing the angle of departure where you're going to the down lineman and the next alignment is a little bit different.
What part of your game do you take the most pride in?
I take pride in my strength. You know, I feel like I'm one of the stronger guys on the team, so I feel like getting them off the ball is what I have to do as someone who's strong. It's actually very important to me. Being able to be in the environment of a college stadium and being able to go against guys who are not the people you practice against was a viable experience for me that I really appreciated from the coaching staff.
Back to your strength for a second. The idea that you take a lot of pride in that. You got to the end of the season last year. Were you where you wanted to be by the end of the year after going through a full season?
No, I feel like I'm never really satisfied of where I'm at. I feel like there's always something I can improve on. And that was really evident, you know, with Coach Mick, the strength staff, pointed out my weaknesses to me, so I tried to strengthen them over the offseason to showcase it on the field.
Donovan, what have you learned from Matt Jones?
Matt, Matt is, we call him pillar strength. You know, he's that type of guy that once he gets his hands on you, it's over. So I always try to look at his sets. I try to always look at his hand placements, because what Matt does is almost all the time is right. So I try to see what he does, because obviously he's been through it at a guard position. And I always ask for advice when it comes to either pulling or anything like that from Matt. And he's a great person to get information from.
Do you feel like, because he said versatility's always been something that he kind of prides himself on, whether it's both guard positions or backup centers. How valuable is that to a line or even to a team that kind of, the culture is, put me anywhere, I just want to help, do you sense that from him? Do you sense that from the line as a whole?
Right, I think everyone on the line knows that we could change positions at any point, and we should be able to run the ball or throw the ball at the same efficiency as we were in our original positions. Yeah. So with Matt saying that he's versatile, I completely agree with that, because he is. And so having that mentality in the offensive line room, I think, is what sets us apart from other places, because we trust each other to know that we trust each other to know each other's jobs at all times.
Is that something that you strive for?
Yeah, I always try to know what. It's always easier to know what Paris is doing or DeJuan is doing, because it makes your job easier.
You were like the sixth man last year. They'd bring you in sometimes extra tackle, extra tight end, however you want to describe it. This year with you being a starter, who maybe could fill that role of being that guy that can come in and be an extra tackle if they needed to?
Well, there are plenty of guys who could fill that role, either if it's here or incoming guys, but that's up to the Coach Wilson and the offensive staff. I'm excited to see who's going to put on the tight end number this year.
What is
41.
Yeah, 41.
Last question.
What is Tai Leak like as a roommate?
He's a great roommate, I would say. He's always a fun guy to be around. After you take after a long day at class, or you have a test that you didn't think went that well, he's always there to cheer you up. So having Tai Leak there is always a great thing for me.
Do y'all ever have any side wagers going into a practice? Y'all talk about things like that?
Oh, there's a lot of smack talk.
Yeah.
There's a lot of smack talk. He's on the field, that carries on to the locker room, then we go into the car, then we go to the room. It keeps going. Then we wake up in the morning, it's still going.
Is he a classic kind of defensive tackle that is very confident about himself? How would you describe that?
I would say Tai Leak's very confident about himself, to the point where it annoys me. But having Tai Leak around just makes you better. Iron sharpens iron, and being around that guy all the time, it just makes me better.
Who had a better day today?
Between us two, I'll leave that up to the film. I can say what I think, but I'll leave that to the film. We got to break down after this.
Don, I asked you earlier, where do you feel most natural, or more natural earlier? And I'm just wondering, with your speed stuff, do you really like the idea that as a guard, maybe you're going to get out and run a lot? What do you think about that? What do you think you bring to that equation?
I like operating in space. Hitting someone that's not a defensive lineman is always an offensive lineman's dream. So if you pull out in space, you see a corner or a linebacker pulling across, you're like, hey, now this is a hit I want to take. So having those plays are opportunities you got to take advantage of, because once they do happen, you got to get after it.